Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome to my latest YouTube video. Today I'm going to be doing some journaling in my traveller's notebook, and I'm going to be going for a kind of vintagey style using some old papers and just having a nice play in there. So I really hope you enjoy the video. For this journaling session, I've gathered some papers around me. These pads were from my recent stationery pal haul, and I've been using these lots on my journal pages and in collages, so I thought they might be good to use. And I've got some exciting news coming up about Stationery Pal fairly soon, so keep an eye out on my YouTube channel. And the other thing I've been doing is playing a lot with die cuts and embossing folders. So I've been using those in my die cutting machine. And I've got quite a few pieces of paper that are all ready and embossed. So I was playing around with different types of paper. That was from some paper packaging. This one, I think, well, I've got some coffee dyed papers and book pages in here. So I thought they'd be fun to use perhaps as part of a collage. And in here, I've got lots of my little die cut pieces of paper as well. So I thought I'll just get them all handy and see what I fancy using today. And I've also got some tapes from London Gifties that I haven't even got around to using yet. So I thought if I put those on my desk, I'm more likely to use them. And as always, I'll leave links to everything that I use or mentioned down below. So this is my Traveller's Notebook cover. It's the vintage light one from Start Bay Notebooks. And in here, I've got some loose pieces of paper and various bits of ephemera. This is where I also keep my daily journal. So this is the one that I complete every single day and then just add a little bit of a summary at the end of the week. I've also got my craft insert in here. But today I'm going to be working in my plain insert, which has got Tomo River paper in it. I decided that the washi tape I wanted to use today is this beautiful one called Pink Flower Garden, because I want to introduce some colour if I'm going to be using lots of browns and vintagey looking papers, but I wanted it to be something that was quite delicate so that it didn't kind of change the feel of the pages too much. So I'm going to start off by just adding a strip of this on both sides of my journal spread. And this is one of the ways I always ease myself into a journaling session, or nearly always. So I just like to get something quick and easy started that gives me a little bit of a framework for my pages. And I'm then just going to trim off the corners of that tape. I really fancy having some sort of collage on my journal pages, and I really like how this one's already kind of ripped and torn, got a beautiful distressed feel to it, and that was just some regular regular printer paper that I dyed in coffee, and then I've used one of the embossing folders, and I really like the texture it's brought to that piece of paper. I tend to get my die cutting machine out every couple of weeks, perhaps at the weekend, and just spend a bit of time getting some papers all ready. Once I've got the machine out, just kind of sitting and going through my stash. And I found that the embossing doesn't show up as well on the book pages, but it still has got a really lovely kind of feel to it, very textured. So I think I might just tear a bit of that out as well. And I absolutely love how well this rose has come out. I don't know if you can see it very well on camera, but I also did some embossing with that rose folder. I think that came from a card magazine, and I did it on some white paper, and to help it stand out I then added some watercolour in between the gaps. So I really liked being able to use that in a couple of different ways. So I think I might look through this one to see if there's a little butterfly page that would tie in with this washi. Because my creative challenge on Patreon during May was collage, these little books came in so handy. Okay, so I think I'm going to go for this butterfly here. And I've also really enjoyed using this one as well. I love the fact that it's already got these kind of collaged elements on the page. And I might perhaps tuck that one up there. So I just want to keep it really nice and simple today. And I'm going to see if there's any die cut elements that I fancy using. So I think I've decided on these two. I think that would be nice to have perhaps over the corner of there, and then perhaps tuck that underneath. I love the fact that it's got those big cutouts so I can see the other textured paper behind it. So now that I've got that kind of structure to my page, I'm going to use some Pritt Stick to glue these down. It's been a really busy month, or couple of months for me really, with one thing and another. The morning that I'm filming this, actually my class for workshop week is going to be going out tonight, or tonight to my time. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've got a couple of projects that I've been working on that I hope to be able to share with you very soon. I've increased my filming schedule on Patreon, so I'm now releasing one video a week for my top tier patrons, and then one every other week for my middle tier. And that was something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, so that I can cover requests and more in-depth tutorials. So they're all really fun things that I'm working on, but there's definitely been kind of a very busy work schedule. But I've also had some lovely days out. I've been going on some wonderful walks and went to the cinema with my mum, and my daughter's coming home for the weekend. So lots of kind of family gatherings as well, but definitely a busy work schedule at the moment. Okay, I think we're nearly there with this. Now that I've got my paper elements down, I'm going to use some other thin strips of washi tape. And I think I'm just going to place those just in a couple of different places. And I've got these lovely pressed flower stickers, again from London Gifties, and I just wanted something nice and subtle that perhaps I could layer over the top of here. And then I think to finish off this little collage element down here, I'm just going to have a look for a quote. I'm going to use one of the stickers from this Tim Holtz Small Talk sticker book. And I saw this one at the bottom and thought that's going to be absolutely perfect. Never doubt your instinct. I've had a few things recently where I've had to make some kind of quite big decisions, and I can definitely overthink things if I'm not careful. But actually, if I go with my gut instinct, it's nearly always ends up being the right one. So I thought that would be perfect. I'm just going to layer that slightly over the edge there. And then I'm going to do a little bit of stamping along the top. So I'm just going to keep it nice and simple and stamp out the word June. And I'm going to use some black Stays On ink. I really like this little vintage alphabet stamp set. You do often get the kind of black lines from around the edge of the stamp, and you could clean it up before stamping if you're worried about it. But I think that if you're going for kind of vintagey style pages, I actually really like the little bit of imperfection it brings to that. I'm now going to add just a little quote along here saying trust yourself, and for this I'm using a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen with a firm nib. And I thought it'd be fun to then just add a little leaf doodle on the end of that quote. Okay, so that's my decorative elements now all done. I think I'm really happy with how that's looking. Nice and quick and easy, but giving me plenty of space still to write. And in my latest book, I've got lots of journal prompts in here. And I was looking through some of these actually only the other day, because it's all about, this particular page is all about prompts for the new month, what you can do to make it feel more balanced, and giving some real thought to scheduling in time for big projects but also time for rest and play. So I was reading through some of those and it got me thinking about the fact that I've got some really busy times still coming up, but I want to make sure that I'm also scheduling in lots of rest time too. So I'm going to use those just kind of as a bit of a springboard for my writing. And I'm going to be using my Kaweco Sport fountain pen. Okay, that's my journal pages all complete. I really hope you enjoyed watching the process of this coming together. As always, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's joined me over on Patreon. I hope you're doing really well. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking with you really soon in my next video.